გამარჯობათ. Hi. Welcome to the second season of the Liberland in Georgia podcast. My name is Sam, and I'm the representative of Liberland to Georgia. The second season is dedicated to the business perspective here in the country. And why do I want to cover it? Because Georgia is badly on rise, and I don't want you to miss out. And this is also the reason why I invited Guri Koiava today to join us at the little interview. Thank you so much, Guri, for coming. But first, before we'll dive deeper into it, I would love to thank to the Franklin Club where we are currently shooting. Thank you so much, guys, for making this happen. If you don't know Franklin Club, they're a liberal think tank that focus on the political and economic education. Thank you so much. All right, Guri, I will let you to introduce yourself, but why I invited you is because we got connected thanks to the several events that were happening lately in Georgia. Many of them were focused on the business perspective, and you're very involved in several startups, which is really overwhelming because the scene is really on rise. How did you get to where are you today? I mean, what were your first impulses like from the Georgian perspective? How did you get to this startup scene?
Yeah, thanks, Sam. First of all, thanks for the invitation, and good luck to your podcast, your channel, and the series of your interviews. I believe that you're doing an amazing job promoting Georgia, promoting entrepreneurship, and basically globalizing this country to the developed part of the world. And thanks to the Franklin Club for the opportunity that we are here.
Thank you.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. We have got connected on the, I guess, on the LinkedIn because you are quite active in content creation and promotion of different important directions, including entrepreneurship, digital being a digital nomad, and so on and so on. So you're quite close to the tech startup community as well. And you're absolutely right about the networking events that we met each other. And I got quite impressed about the Liberland you're presenting and the values that you share and the voice that you spread around the world.
Thank you so much.
And about me and how from where all of this started. It is connected to the failure of my one of my projects in my professional life, which did not go so well. And I have some period of thinking and deciding what's next. And by that time, me and my partner, we had the coffee and the discussion and basically soft brainstorming of what can be done. So by that time in 2018, Georgia was still, how to say, the community of startups and the tech ecosystem was still under shaping, and there was sort of couple of events and different kind of non-formal education and gatherings and trainings. So as I experienced two individuals and professionals of different types, we covered all the skills, basically we had all the skill sets to decide to become the organizers of the small, medium and the large startup events. And this is how we started, with one handshake and one first test event. And Fabrica was our host in Ashwili Street. And event was well planned. It was Fuckup Nights at Tbilisi, where we invited 4 professionals that they openly shared their failure stories, and we saw the crowd around, I don't remember the number, around 350, 400, doesn't matter. It was enough to understand that community is there, and everyone that came were interested to learn from the other people's mistakes. So this always smart and better. There is nothing wrong to learn from your own mistakes. Mistakes are not welcomed, but they are not dramatic anymore, right? So mistakes are for learning, but we created a platform that you can actually learn from other people's mistakes. And the event went smoothly, and lots of people, we didn't count enough chairs, so some people were standing, so there was a really good vibe. And after networking, where people were happy, thanking, getting to know each other, and so on and so on. So these emotions and that precedent was enough to decide that next what we're going to do is that, okay, let's just organize lots of events. So it was conferences, trainings, workshops, different type of brands that were ongoing in the world, like Product Tank and Pecha Kucha, and many other valid and large formats that you can actually take license and learn how to organize it, match it to your target group, and basically envision what you want to achieve with those, and then you can just do it from your heart and a bit of professionalism in event management, and then everything happens. So at the end, we managed to have 20 to 25 different type of formats, events that were all made for startups and for this ecosystem. And these were basically non-formal education, networking type of events that brought us to where we are now.
You know, like, wow, because it's multidisciplinary still, though, because like when you have different like business events, for educational events or entertaining events, it's like different areas. You still have to, it's not just about the event management, because you were like really interconnecting people, and so then you got deeper into the startup scene yourself.
Yep. When we started, I didn't really know what startup scene is. I saw some startups around, so I have never been in the large startup gathering. So it appeared so that I became an co-organizer of those startup gatherings. There were other stakeholders, our colleagues and friends, that were doing those events as well. So once you are an organizer, you're having some responsibilities. Sometimes you go to some other events as a guest, and then you enjoy the startup event. So from then, like, I attended more than 250 startup events. Most of them were co-organized by me and my team. So we learned a lot from each other. We inspired each other. We networked. We shook hands. We exchanged contacts. Like, lots of nice things started to happen. And then on the way, we established like 2 more startup organizations that serve different purposes.
Mm-hmm. And how do you see the startup scene today? Like, when do you think that it started, like, more rising?
Hard to guess the years for me, like maybe from 2016, and then when the international organizations or acceleration programs or international investors have started visiting Georgia and investing in Georgian startups, and then Georgian startups were spotlighted on the large startup scenes in the world, and this become really important. This become exciting. To become a startup founder is not only a trendy thing; it is a proven sort of lifestyle and the right choice for your professional life, because you will learn a lot on the way, right? It's your university, it's your self-development time, and it's a potential that you might create a unicorn and have the brilliant team and nice co-founders and employ and financially benefit lots of people, including your country. So,
but like getting to particular to Georgia, so because there was almost to my understanding, there was almost no startups in, let's say, 10 years ago, and so where do you think all the roots came from? Do you think that it was more just trying and then seeing how it goes and slowly getting this international perspective and approach? Because you need this experience, I think, no?
Yeah, so this is all about how the stakeholders, how the decision makers of this country in the particular years were thinking, how conservative they were, how could they see the big picture or not, how much they invested, what they have done to Georgia to progress in the tech direction. So I would say that basically we saw some kind of institutionalized sort of even the building wise, like tech park were started to be created from 2016. They're 8 or 9 now, right? And all around Georgia. It started with Tbilisi. So even that and some other buildings that were called as the first co-working spaces, mostly free. Now we have one of the largest co-working spaces in the region, with full of people, and there are many more opening. Maybe we have new co-working space coming up every month, and with different concepts and with different type of so I would say that since this thing become popular, and now I'm expecting a huge flow, a new generation of startups, because now we have even tangible results and some superstars that are sort of becoming the role models of the younger generation, and even the older generation is becoming a startup founder, doesn't have any age. So maybe if we have interview in a year or two, I could even be more proud and tell you more.
Do you think are there any other aspects that make people in Georgia being more interested in the startup scene? Because I see that really they're just popping up here. So I don't think it's just only this, that it's cool. But do you see any other aspect that might have the impact on it? Are people getting more foreign experience and then coming back, or what do you think?
Now Georgia is quite a globalized country, so people, students or school kids or whoever wants to live abroad, get education or study here. Now our educational system is improving every day. It's becoming good enough for the person to get the theories and get network and the good classmates, which can potentially be translated into the opportunities to find a co-founder or find the friends and family money or find angel investors. So the community is quite mature now to support experimentation of early stage startups, and those startups are popping up, as you said. It's quite trendy. Unfortunately, it is quite capitalized in the big cities like Tbilisi, Batumi. It's not really decentralized into Georgia. So those talents and the startups that are popular, or they are not necessarily from Tbilisi or Batumi, they were born somewhere else, but they came to seek opportunities here. They found it here. So for the next years, everyone, even in the villages, because now we don't have internetization problems any longer. Maybe we still have a small portion of like having some good computers and strong internet somewhere, but mostly it is covered to all Georgia. So now we have successful, interesting startups coming from everywhere, but still infrastructure is built in central cities.
Well, I think it makes sense also for the, like when foreigners are coming here and someone just comes as let's say they want to invest in some startup. So I guess that it's just like a business center. It's still, I think, interesting that still you have like two locations, not Kutaisi, but just like Batumi and Tbilisi.
Actually, Kutaisi is a new trend, and lots of big projects are announced.
All right.
There. So after implementation of those things, the Kutaisi geographically is in the middle of Georgia. It's connected to the west and capital city. So I think Kutaisi coming up.
Wow. That's interesting. That's really interesting. And do you think like only even like for tech startups?
Not anymore. Even me as a tech enthusiast, I'm slowly opening my interest to all kind of entrepreneurship. So I love social entrepreneurs. I love like different directions. Even the guys that are finding some niche products from traditional business and exporting from Georgia. So we have like a revolutionized entrepreneurial mindset for the people I'm meeting. Maybe it's my cycle and I'm living in some kind of matrix that makes me think like that. But I see those talents, I see entrepreneurs, I see very enthusiastic people from different angles trying to build their businesses. So tech is good, but all other interesting niche business makes me really interested.
Wow, this is interesting. Yeah. How do you see like the Georgian startups getting on the international level? Like, I mean, at least getting the awareness of the international investors or like foreign investors. Now, you already mentioned that some startups already, let's say, like made it, and so that they were already spot on the global level. But how do you see this path? Like, do you know how Georgia is perceived by the foreigners on this level?
Yes, we lost quite lots of time to sort of market Georgia better in the past years. So this generation, previous generation, this generation, next generation, we are doing it better. So thanks to you, actually, also we are spotlighting Georgia as and we are saying true. So Georgia is the safest country at this part of the world, quite liberal, easy doing business. All these compliments are not the marketing bullet points, right? This is real for everyone who knows and lives here. There are like lots of things that should be improved and modernized and changed most probably. But the basics and the base what we have is enough to like we have all enough tools as citizens or residents of Georgia, right? There is not much difference as a liberal country. We love living together with different religion groups or nationalities, so it doesn't matter. And building startups or doing business or living together or enjoying the cultural life together, right? So potential is much more than we have achieved. So the time comes when we citizens, residents, the newcomers, the new residents of Georgia, we all of us will be responsible to shape and change and modernize and skyrocket this country.
Oh my God! This is your future presidential speech. This is interesting. Like, what do you see as a strength or potential in Georgia that could still be broadened? Like, is there anything particular that you see?
Yes, and previously you asked about investors, right? So by the numbers, it is not the richest country, obviously, right? So the mistakes what we have done in the past, those should be improved, and basically Georgia should become even more safe haven of like individuals or corporations or investors or whoever that needs like more credibility or trust, or is searching for comfortable, exotic, peaceful, and also the spot with entertainment. So Georgia is a hidden gem of everything you're searching for. So this helps everyone to work and entertain and enjoy the cultural life, or read book in the peaceful forest spot, and so on and so on. So unfortunately it is not like completely green or the smart city by its nature, but as a innovators, as a startups, all these like talents might, with their startup, with their ideas, with their things, might like change everything quickly and make everything even better, right? So this is a process.
Yeah. Interesting thought. Like I totally agree that, to me as a foreigner, I live here over 2 years and I love the country. It's very safe, like on the international level, not only just in the region, but like on the global level. It's one of the safest countries in the world, and it's good to move in. But I noticed that there are many people who start being just curious, like Western or European investors, just to invest in the Georgian companies without moving in here. Despite it's a great place to make a trip, of course, like Georgian wine, Georgian food, women, like you got mountains, you got sea. Oh, you wanted to talk about women. What do you say about Georgian women? No, okay. All right, yeah, so Georgia is a beautiful country, definitely worth visiting. But yeah, like, what do you think that there's something that makes Georgia like special or different that is being reflected in the startups or in the business?
Yeah, so as a startup, as an entrepreneur, existing one, newcomer, old one, new one, doesn't matter what kind of entrepreneur you are. If you are deciding to relocate, or if you're deciding to stay here and don't move somewhere else, you need the basics, right? You need the basically comfort, right? Logistic-wise, infrastructure-wise, it should be exotic. It should be, I don't know, sexy. It should be interesting. It should be in the nightlife. Should be there. The tasty food should be there. Library should be there.
Yeah.
Nice co-working spaces and so on. So all those things are transforming, changing, added. So we have like many new spots, new choices, basically, to like even before the pandemics, I had a working lifestyle of co-work from everywhere, like from cafes and like basically I like coffee or tea. I drink both. So whatever place has it, I could go there, just normal internet, and work from there. So all these things are here. If you study the city, you have many choices, and the country is small enough to travel inside, and we have different climate zones, right? So if you like a bit cold, I like a bit cold weather. I don't know why, but at least 3-4 months of year I want to feel cold. So I have the choice, right, in Georgia. Or I like skiing. I get some stress, or I'm tired, and I know I have mountain in 1.5 hours drive, and I can ski, and then I know that in a few months I can go and swim, and we have a couple of lakes, and still hidden and undiscovered places even for me, and cuisine is different, and taste of the food and everything. So when you have so many choices in the small geographical location, you can just travel inside everywhere and enjoy those. And once you get feeling that you want to travel, we have even budgeted airport from Kutaisi, or even from Tbilisi you can fly, or Batumi. So like well connected country with a bigger potential that it has it is right now.
Well, this is a great aspect to cover, so that like beginning and starting from here makes sense. If you want to start a business and you just, I think it like reduce the risk with the cost of living, and yet the quality you get for the cost of living, that's very good. It's like a very good price value ratio here, like from what I had experienced to travel and to explore myself. So this is definitely true. But I was like rather thinking about, you know, like how this maybe like cultural, very specific cultural mix, I would say, and experience in Georgia. How does this reflect, if it reflects, in the Georgian startup scene? Like, is there something that is like very specific, particular to Georgia, you think? Like to when related to the startup scene?
There has to be still a lot to be done. Then I am just being proud here, right? So I'm really proud, I'm really excited, I'm really happy of what's happening right now, how scene is developing, but like much more can be done, and the process is ongoing, right? There is no one with a magic stick to do those things, right? There is community, there are people, so depending on their decisions, depending what will happen in their lives, whom they will meet, whom they will invite, which someone will have international investors, someone will have a foreign co-founder, or so on and so on. And Georgia is right now hosting and inviting lots of international interesting travelers that are becoming locals. So Georgia is a place where you can become a local easily.
That's true.
You can't engage with everything, and by the legislation, by the time of establishing your business, it's really easy. It takes a few days. There are no queues, and then next day you open bank account, and then you have LLC, and then you have bank account, and you have idea in your head, and then you have plenty of co-working spaces. You have tasty coffee, as you mentioned, rich food, and so on and so on. And for the evening, you have plenty of choices where you want to spend time, right? What kind of entertainment you like, from the theaters to cinemas, especially in English language. I have been going to stand-up comedy a few days ago in English, and usually I'm going there when they speak in Georgian. So it was really nice. So there is no like entertainment kind of thing that you cannot find here, and there is no anything that might distract you to not to achieve your goals on your business. So it's a work-life balance. For the work-life balance, it's an excellent country, an excellent city. But I'm not fan of Tbilisi that much anymore. I am for the decentralization. So personally, me, I'm already thinking where to sort of relocate. Maybe I'm wrong. I will not go anywhere. I'll be stuck here. But I like to be in a bit more like west, or mountains, and so on and so on. And with my laptop and the telephone, I can work from anywhere.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, this is amazing. Thank you so much for this perspective. Because you aren't very well on the scene. How do you see, or how do you expect the close future progress? And are you planning yourself something particular with all those dozens of projects you're involved in? Like, is there anything we should be aware of that is really like coming, some conferences, some interesting events, or something that, would be interesting for some other people as well?
Yes, we want it or not, it's anyways post-pandemic period, right? It's still ongoing, and some industries are still being rehabilitated or reshaped, and you know that during the pandemics, for 2 years, the event networking industries were sort of frozen or dead, or I don't know how to call it. And now everything is restored. People are back. People miss each other. People missed big startup events, and hopefully all of them are back, including me and my organizations. We cover from networking events like conference in non-formal educations. We have really amazing speakers, mostly Georgian speakers that are sort of inspiring next generations. And I'm a networker. I love business networking, so they are part of our project that we're doing, and pre-acceleration programs, and those are to the point of like to basically educate or shape those startups, like boost them basically to become the better entrepreneurs. And the Business Angel Network that is and should better angel invest in tech startups. So these are all organizations and all processes that I'm part of right now. I'm planning to stay there for a couple of more times, and then I hope a younger generation will continue all those things even better and with better ideas and energy.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Let me pose you a very last question. And it is, if you could name one thing Georgia still has, or Georgian startup scene still has a gap, and that could be fulfilled or resolved either by some investment, some company, some startup, whatever. Like one gap that if it would be filled or if it wouldn't be here, it would be a great progress.
When it comes to lifestyle, I would say that I wish that lots of other people from any part of the world come here, relocate here, and they join forces with the locals to build those things and to reshape the this industry together. Then it will happen naturally, because if you have more talents, more enthusiasts, more tech related or entrepreneurs coming to Georgia, then the things might get even more interesting. So I would say multicultural startup ecosystem is in my head, it looks more interesting. And when it comes to the gaps, there are still many projects or things that can be implemented here, starting from more acceleration programs to more VCs coming, or business angel network becoming more popular, and angel investing into startups, and basically large events, large networking events, conferences. So I love this stuff, and I want to see it around me. We are co-organizers of many interesting projects, but I would like to see the other initiatives with as I said, mostly internationals joining all this startup life here.
Very interesting insight. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your perspective. It was really insightful, and I hope so that it was also insightful for everyone watching. Please, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. You can also contact Guri on LinkedIn, I guess. And yeah, especially if you're an investor, and you need a little guide through, well, here's the person. Thank you so much for coming today.